All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll begin our regular city commission meeting and have the call to order. And
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shall we pray? Father God, I just thank you so much for the opportunity to gather together here today to try to do the things that need to be done for our city of Mount Pleasant. I want to especially thank you for all the young men that are here tonight, God, and I pray for the guys that are out playing tonight. Thank you for keeping them safe through this last season, and God, we just thank you for what fun we had watching them play. And thank you for their families and the dedication that they have and their coaches. And we just thank you for all the servants that we have here in this city of all types. And we just ask that you keep us safe as we go home tonight. Help us to listen well, to speak slowly, and to do the things that you want for this city. In your name we pray, amen.
amen. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Bill White,
Here.
Declan Granberry,
Present.
Mike Davis,
Here.
Willie Alderson,
Here.
Pam Johnson.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. We've got two sets of minutes, one from the study session of February the 16th and one from the regular meeting of the 21st. And once you've had an opportunity to review those, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the study session for February the 16th and the regular meeting February 21st.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, folks, here we get to the fun part. Proclamations. And the first one we're going to do, and again, I'd love to have all the commissioners come up if you don't mind. The first one we're going to do is the African American Hunter Cemetery. And whoever is here to receive the proclamation, if you don't mind, please come forward. We've got the original.
So here's the original and a few extra copies.
We got y'all three originals. And thank y'all for being here very much. Yes, y'all come with them. See, somebody, please, sir. Keep those in order, Mr. All right, it's an honor to do this. I lived here my whole life, and I've always known Hunter Cemetery and rode by there the last couple of days, so it's pretty neat. Whereas the citizens of Mount Pleasant are rightfully proud of those organizations that bring personal pride, provide community service, and bring recognition to our city, and whereas the African American Hunter Cemetery Committee located in our city has taken the responsibility for the maintenance and upkeep of the African American Hunter Cemetery for the past 5 years. They have raised funds through community fundraisers, community church services, and individual community solicitations to assist with this maintenance and upkeep at the cemetery. Whereas African American Hunter Cemetery Committee is celebrating its 5th-year anniversary and looks forward to providing this community service to the citizens of Mount Pleasant who have friends, family, and loved ones buried in this cemetery. Whereas the city of Mount Pleasant and its mayor and board of commissioners wish to join in honoring this outstanding organization for their dedicated service. Now, therefore, I, Bill White, mayor of the city of Mount Pleasant, do hereby proclaim Sunday, April the 2nd, 2023, African American Hunter Cemetery Committee Day, and encourage all citizens of the city of Mount Pleasant to join with us in recognizing this outstanding organization for their 5 years of being dedicated to this community service project. And we have several of the originals for the group. And I don't know if those of you know, but how long has that cemetery been in existence? Has anybody got any idea?
We have, people that buried there from, the 1800s.
There we go.
Wow. Wow.
It's phenomenal. So, thank you very much, and congratulations, and thank y'all for what you're doing. Anything y'all would like to say to the community?
We're starting our fundraising season. Anybody that wishes to donate, and we're trying to attract some, business donations this year. So if you own a business in Mount Pleasant, you probably can get a letter or business information from us. So we thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Oh, I'm done.
Give that. The top one's the original one. The very top ones that got the original seal on it.
All right. Mount Pleasant High School football. Coach, come on down, man. Coach, come on. Come on.
Over around there.
We'll let all y'all get there.
Yeah.
Get it so everybody, y'all got to come on, man. I promise I won't bother. We talked about doing this for several months because I can tell you, I know that I try to make every ball game I can, and it's been exciting this year what you gentlemen have done. And I want to personally thank all of the families because I know it doesn't just happen because these young men, you got to have the support at home, and I want to make sure that everybody understands how much we appreciate what y'all have done. You've taken a program that maybe wasn't the most desired in the area and turned it into what it is, and went to some places you weren't supposed to win and walked out of there with a dub. So young men, thank y'all very much. Represent the city well. Whereas the city of Mount Pleasant and all its citizens are rightfully proud of its young residents, and whereas the citizens recognize the Mount Pleasant High School football team as an integral part of this community. And whereas this team has exemplified the high standards of good sportsmanship and personal conduct in being the 2022 region champions. They were Mount Pleasant's first-time region champions since 2008. They were 13 all-regional team and 4 all-state team, with the coaching staff all being all-region coaching staff of the year. The team finished and ranked number 9 in 2A. They were second-ranked defense, giving up 11 points per game, and 11th ranked offense, scoring 30 points per game. We are proud of these outstanding wins and championships these players and coaches have achieved. Whereas the Mount Pleasant High School football team has represented the city of Mount Pleasant, Murray County, and the state of Tennessee with the highest of standards and participation. And now, therefore, I, Bill White, Mayor of the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the date of March 21st as Mount Pleasant High School Football Team Day. Fantastic, guys. Coach, we got several of the originals here. We can get more, so if we could, Kate, maybe we can get enough.
You can
for-
make as many as they want.
Yeah, so I'd like to make sure that each member gets one to take home. So we'll get those maybe over to the school here.
And we've got a few baseball players that couldn't make it tonight.
Exactly. So, Coach, got anything you'd like to say?
Just thank you for having us, recognizing us. It's a fun season. Being there on Friday nights and looking up in the crowd, seeing a packed stadium as hard as these guys work, and it makes it a lot of fun and very rewarding, and they represented the community well. Just thank you. I saw you there and several of you guys there each and every Friday night, so we appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Congratulations. Way to go. We have chances for photo ops out in the hall right afterwards, so take your time, enjoy.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Good, man.
I feed them every Friday. They better like me, like the church.
I don't really know a much better way to open this. Those guys really.
Yes.
Excuse me. Mayor's appointments, and we'll move through these fairly quickly. Communication Committee, Pam had one to add, and it is Beth Eastep from 207 South High Street here in Mount Pleasant. All others have agreed to continue to remain on.
And if
we-
you don't mind, I'm just going to rattle all their names off.
Please
They're
do.
one-year terms, so.
Right.
So Mayor White is John Hatcher and Jason Reason. Miss Willie is Trevor Brewer and Barbara Whiteman. Mr. Davis is Milton Knowles and Sarah Hines. Miss Granberry is Sarah Bullock and Freddie Walker. And Pam Johnson is Carla Emmett and Beth Eastep, and they'll be one-year terms.
Right. Okay,
And we have a meeting Monday night,
Monday night.
5 o'clock.
This coming
You're
Monday?
all welcome to come.
Yes, please, if you, we'd love to have you.
Have they been notified?
Yes,
Okay.
We need to,
we need to vote on that.
Each of them
Sorry, I have to-
individually?
Yeah, let you vote on it first.
Okay.
yes.
all right, we got each of the names listed and each of them have agreed to serve, so entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we certify the Mount Pleasant Communication Committee because all have agreed to participate and wish them a good year.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The Industrial Development Board, Kate, if you don't mind, read those. Now, I want to make this comment before she reads them. This board is basically inactive. We're keeping it in place just in case anything came up that we needed to act on. But what we have done for the most part, so everybody understands, is that we kind of joined together with the Murray County IDB for the fact that we're the biggest part of the majority of the industrial was going into Cherry Glen. The county actually owns Cherry Glen. So we felt like in the best interest of not having two IDBs doing this, it would be best to do that right now. Now, we want to keep it in place in case something kind of goes a little out of whack. Then that way we can go right back into it.
We just recently used it for Sakasui.
Yeah.
So, and there's only one member, and it's Al Kirstings, and it's a 6-year term, and that's the only one we need to appoint at this
Okay.
time.
Any questions? Entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we add Mr. Al Turner,
Al Kirstings.
Kirsten,
Christian to the industrial board and, the industrial board.
yes. Got a motion, we have a second.
I second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we've got the Mount Pleasant Power System, and we've got a letter here from the Power Board. Says, references Farrell White. Dear Mayor White, I hope this letter finds you well. I just wanted to let you know that the term for Farrell White on the Mount Pleasant Power Board of Public Utilities, commonly referred to as the Mount Pleasant Power Board of Directors, will expire on March the 31st. I would like to respectfully ask that Farrell White be considered for reappointment for another 4-year term. I'll go into all the rest of it, but he's been on it since April of 2015, and says that Mr. White brings a wealth of experience and leadership that is extremely valuable and irreplaceable to our organization. I want to make this very clear. That is my father, so I will abstain from the vote.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I would like to say something.
Certainly.
I served on that board with Mr. Farrell for several years, and I don't think the city could ask for a better person than Mr. Farrell.
Thank you.
And this is a 4-year term.
And it is 4-year term.
I make a motion to accept Farrell White to the Mount Pleasant Power System Board of Directors.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Again, I'm going to abstain, please, so might want to do a roll call.
Sure.
Think it's just safe.
Okay, Bill White,
I'll abstain, please.
Ms. Granberry,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes,
Ms. Alderson,
Yes.
and Ms. Johnston.
Yes.
Sound like it passed?
Yep. Motion passed, 4-0.
All right, thank you. Completion and review of any unfinished business.
There is not any, Mayor.
Monthly report from the mayor. I don't really have anything other than third Thursdays kind of got it kicked off. And there was a few people here. Weather wasn't the greatest in the world, but it's time to get it started. So I'd encourage everybody to try to come out and support the local vendors. So that's all I've got. Monthly financial budget report. And again, Kate, would you take a moment and introduce our new financial director?
So we don't have a month in yet, but our new finance director is Shipra Cox, and we're doing great. She's getting learning quicker than I ever would have thought, and we are getting some help from Loretta on questions that we have, but she's ready to go with her monthly report.
All right.
I think I just want to say thank you to everybody. I think everyone at Mount Pleasant has been very welcoming. I did get to attend the third Thursday, and got to meet with a lot of vendors, and and like Mayor said, I was out there spending. So I think I did make some sales tax for City of Mount Pleasant on Thursday. But I would just like to say we emailed out all the reports. If you all have any questions, we are right here. And then our funds are looking good right now. 110, the general fund, is looking good because we just received all of our property tax. And our delinquency taxes are due at the end of this month to the Chancery Court. The girls in the front are working on it. I think what I was told last year, we did not have any delinquencies. So that's our goal this year, is to none of the delinquencies that we have carried over from the previous year. Hopefully we won't have any to turn over. So that's what we're trying to get accomplished in receivables at the moment. We started budget season this week as well. So all the department heads have their spreadsheets and stuff. So we're going to start meeting hopefully in the next couple of weeks to finalize a lot of the department head requests, and then get with the city manager to bring everything to you all in the next couple of months. I did get to meet with MTAS in the last few weeks. I've got a meeting scheduled to hopefully meet with the auditors to try to get everything figured out that I need to learn as far as the differences between county and municipalities. So yeah, we're working right along. The only thing I think I would point out on the financials is, again, funds look good, but the cash report will look a little different just because February was the month that we opened up our new bank accounts. So there's accounts that may have had, or funds that may have had 2 accounts would have 4 at the moment, just because every account that we had was opened with another new one with a different bank.
Yeah.
So that just, when you all see a lot of bank accounts out there, that's what was per our ordinance as we renewed our banks in February. So that's all I have for today. And like I said, if you'll all need me, you know where to find me. And
She's here.
I'm here. And like Philip asked me every day, am I coming back tomorrow? I'll be here tomorrow if y'all need me.
Philip would do that.
well,
He has almost asked me that
if
every
when you
day.
look at the total funds, you're here at the right time, but see that, keep it up there.
Oh, keep it up there. The total of all funds.
Every month, right?
If we don't spend any money, but that's not going to happen. So we still got to pay people to work.
Appreciate you being with us.
Shipper, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Entertain a motion for approval of our monthly financial and budget report.
Make a motion to approve the monthly financial and budget report.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
A second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly report from city manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, I just want to make sure that y'all know that we are closing on our first loan from USDA on Monday, the 27th. If you remember, we had a large packet of money. You have to spend the loan money before you can get into the grant money. So we have surpassed the loan money, and we're going to close on that. It's 10 o'clock Monday, so Corey and Mayor both need you there for lots of signatures. I hope you have it on your calendar already. And we should be good to go with that.
27th?
Yeah, Monday.
What time?
10 a.m. Vance Hamilton's got that all set up, and anybody from like Bassberry and Sims or anybody like that that needs to be there will be there. So right here. So just want to make sure you all are aware of that. And not only do we have a loan and a grant And then the project was, didn't have enough money after we bid it out. So then we have another loan and a grant. So we'll be going through this motion until we get to the end of our project. But the good news is that we're making a lot of progress out there at the sewer plant.
Anything else? That it?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Official reports from other departments, wastewater liaison, Barge.
We're moving right along. The trunk line project is basically done. You're going to have tonight on your agenda a change order that will complete that. And the good news about being able to complete that is we're going to apply for a city CDBG, which is also on the agenda tonight. So we're moving forward on that and have assessed all the damages and everything there. Rainy Street's been bid out. You all have awarded it. We're trying to schedule the pre-construction meeting and executing the construction contract. Wastewater treatment plant. We are tonight going to be adding on things that we removed from the original project because we had to get the funding the right way at that time. And then the only thing that we're not adding on back tonight is the disinfection system. And that's because you all approved last month for us to apply for the Murray County CDBG for that portion. And hopefully we get that money. We're kind of whole with that project going back to where we didn't think we'd ever have enough money. So. And then the final thing is the lagoon repair project. It's amazing. You guys awarded $535,000 to complete the lagoon repair, and 3 weeks later they're telling us that they're about done. We've gone through that money that quickly too. So that by the time I think we meet again, that will be lagoon will be closed out. That's the sewer
Okay,
update,
gas.
and everything with gas is just going fine right now.
This is probably as good a time to bring this up as any. The gas system is it's been very well managed through a number of years in Mount Pleasant, and it's got a lot of cash sitting in it. And we are going to be looking in the month of April at some borrowings from the gas department to spend on our parks and rec individually. And that's where it'll go. And Kate and all of the folks are going to get together in the between now and that next meeting and come up with a kind of a budget and exactly which line items we will be spending the money on. I asked them to put that together for us so that we really understand what we're going to get repayment, what we're going to have out of it. So just to give everybody a little heads up that you will see that in April. All right, new business. A, ordinance 2023-1108. This is a first read. An ordinance amending water and sewer rates and charges for the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee is set forth in Schedule A, Section 18-125 of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code.
So Mayor and Commissioners, I think you were all here at the study session, and I think MTAS, Eric Spencer, did a great job of walking through this process that the study has been going on for well over a year, and I think he made it very clear to you where we are. He kind of gave us 3 different options, and the one that we're recommending tonight is case number 4, and we talked about that at the study session as well. We are going to be, this has 2 readings. What's in front of you does include those increases that are in case number 4. I think we're going to double check all of our language in here about reconnection fees and cutting people off. We've actually, even with Corey's advice, created a separate ordinance that comes next, because it used to be kind of the small print at the end of the ordinance, and now we're going to have a separate ordinance that just discusses that. But there may be a few changes and things like that as we perfect it, but we're very comfortable with recommending the route of going with the case 4. Happy to try and answer any questions, but I think Eric did the best job of that. And basically what you have in the ordinance was what was handed out to you that kind of looked like this on Thursday night.
Mayor, I'd just like to say one thing.
Sure.
When Eric, was presenting this to us, when you start talking about raising rates and all that, it's a no-no. But when he got through with his presentation, and he says if we don't do this, the state or the comptroller's office will come in here and they will force you to do it.
You'll do it whether you want to or not.
So I just want the people, that's listening tonight to know, one of the reasons that we're having to do this, which it needs to be done regardless.
Yes, the Utility Finance Board would come in and take over and tell you what they want the rates to be.
And I'm with Mike. It's not anything you want to talk about, but and the reality of it is, if you look at a residential right now, it's not going to be a phenomenal amount increase. So, but Mike, you're right. I mean,
Also-
we're in this. We got to make sure that.
We put this whole study on our website and on Facebook so
Good.
that people can see
Good.
that this is what's out there and that you all are voting on it.
Good.
All right, this is a first reading, so I want to make sure everybody understands that, and I would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion as presented on ordinance 2023-1108.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 2023-1109, again, this is a first reading. An ordinance amending water and sewer disconnection and reconnection fees for the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee.
And Mayor and Commissioners, just as I stated, is we used to have it in small print at the bottom of the ordinance, how we handle cutoffs and disconnection, reconnection fees. And so I think it's a good idea that Corey's come up with, is we have its own ordinance that will discuss when you get a late fee, when you are disconnected, what it costs to get reconnected, and all that. This is our current practice, so we're not making changes here, but we're just separating it out and putting it in a different ordinance. And again, we will do further review to make sure that everything's as it needs to be between now and second reading.
Corey, anything you'd like to add to this?
Y'all have already passed this ordinance.
Making it clean.
Michael Haywood noticed a discrepancy in there's 12 hours or something. One of them said you turn it off on the 25th, and one of them said you turn it off on the 26th. And there's a $75 reconnection and disconnection and reconnection fee. And we're trying to verify that is the only fee, that there's not this old $25. So it's 75 and not 100. So that's what we're just trying to clarify, so that this isn't a new fee. It's
No.
Making it clear.
It's just clear and on its own.
Yeah, cleaning it up, good.
That's an error or whatever.
Scrivener, yeah.
E&O,
So $75 to disconnected and then
error, not a
$75 to
scrivener.
reconnected.
I think it's the same fee, that if you get disconnected and for us to reconnect you, it's $75.
But not 150.
No.
Okay, all right.
any other questions?
Ms. Granberry, that's for gas too. So you won't get a separate charge for every single
Yeah.
thing that gets cut off.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none,
I
entertain a
make a
motion.
motion that we pass ordinance 2023-1109 as stated.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next three are identical, but we're going to run through them individually. Resolution 2023-7, a resolution declaring representatives of the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee to have the authority as signatories for the accounts at First Farmers and Merchants Bank.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, we were under the impression that we needed to do this every 4 years, and now MTS is telling us every 6. So I promise you, this will not come back from you for 6 years, because it's so much work for the finance department to make all these changes. But we're where we need to be. We just need to get the signature cards up to date.
Unless rates do something crazy.
Yeah, unless that's something, the banks go crazy or something, yeah.
Some of us probably may not be here in 6 years.
That's right.
We hope, right?
Any other questions for Kate? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2023-7 as presented.
Got a motion? Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2023-8, and this one is between the city of Mount Pleasant and Heritage Bank and Trust.
Same info, so no change on report from me.
Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept resolution 2023-8 as stated.
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2023-9, declaring representative of the city of Mount Pleasant at United Community Bank. Same there. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2023-9 as presented.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Ledger. Did that one have a ledger or a lodge sheet?
believe they all have signature sheets within the,
There's signature sheets, but one of the banks I know it didn't say lodge, but it says resolution on top.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the First Farmers one did not say lodge on it, but it does say, resolution.
We need to make sure that the lodge sheet, the resolution from the bank are included in each one of these. The other two, the ordinance, or the resolutions say they are, but this one doesn't.
as far as signatures,
Yes.
yeah. When I looked, they all have signature.
Yeah, this,
Yeah, they all do, all three of them.
yeah.
All right, so that, we'll just make the record clear that we're accepting the lodge sheets that were presented to.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion to pass resolution 2029-9, accepting the log sheet that's presented.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2023-10, a resolution authorizing the city of Mount Pleasant to execute and enter into a professional services agreement with Heathcote and Davis to provide engineering services. This is related to the American Rescue Plan, the money that was available through the American Rescue Plan.
Yes, and this is the attachment that came, I know, via online. It's the Engineers Joint Contract Documents Committee. It's an international type of agreement that's accepted everywhere. So, but basically, you've already approved the project in a resolution previously. This is the contract with the engineers. And I'm going to, for the sake of having this in the minutes, tell you where the money is coming from for this project, because fortunately, we're getting so many grants, it's almost hard to follow. So
That's not a problem.
we got $1.4 million from the first treasurer's note that came out. That was just an automatic that they sent to us. That we all committed to the sewer project. That money is already committed. So this project right here, and it's for expanding two raw water intake structures, upgrading pumping equipment and accessories, replacing an existing 12-inch asbestos cement water line with a new, more reliable, resilient 12-inch DIP water transmission line, utilizing various methods and technologies in accordance with the 2023 American Rescue Plan. So this is being funded by TDEC, had a separate ARPA, American Rescue Act funding, for the amount of $1,050,377. We also got $698,000 from Murray County's ARPA money.
Yep.
So that's the second source of this funding. And then the third source of this funding, we have money in the city budget for Williams Hollow Springs expansion. At one point we were talking about buying it, and we have not, but that is money that would go towards this. And that is not a reoccurring amount in our budget, so we're going to be putting it in the budget again for next year. But that totals what this total project totals. And I just think it's helpful to have it in the minutes, because it's really confusing where all these grants come from.
It is, but it's
So you're
great.
basically awarding the contract to the Heathcote and Davis engineers.
Any questions, Kate? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2023-10.
Got a motion? We got the
Second.
second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2023-11, resolution for the city of Mount Pleasant to submit an application to the State of Tennessee Community Development Block Grant Program.
So, Mayor and Commissioners, we've already talked about the county's CDBG grant we're using for sewer. Everything that we took, the large disinfection money that we took out of the sewer plant project. This is the city's CDBG. And we talked at the study session about our water loss and how we believe so much of our water loss is coming through bad meters and old meters. And so this project would be funding the meters for the water loss. And it is a $630,000 grant. We may end up applying for a little bit less, and our match would be a little bit less, but we write the resolution for the max, but we don't have to come back to you and ask for more money. We may be a little bit less. Our match is 18% on this, and that's $138,000 if we went with the full amount.
And I'd like to thank Kate for attending all of the county commission meetings, getting us in line for this money. Nobody else went up for it, so
It's painful.
it's painful. I know. Probably particularly when you're last on the agenda or close to it. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2023-11 as read.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2023-12, a resolution revising the employee compensation plan for the city of Mount Pleasant.
And Mayor and Commissioners, I've got kind of a list of things I mentioned in our study session. We're adding the GIS position, which we think is critical to our future in utilities. And we have put that in the same range as our top department heads. That's definitely what that job is bringing these days. We are adding a accountant. We've kept the procurement position in there, but it's not considered funded and will not be filled. We just weren't comfortable removing it yet. We have added a fire lieutenant for the Bond Street Station from the utility director. So some of these things, like when you go from supervisor below, the lower paid positions, we're adding 2% to the bottom and the top so that we can give raises in the next few months. So you're seeing minimums and maximums going from 2 to 3.75% changes. We're trying to, and I think I mentioned this at the study session, make our entry level pay $18 an hour. And to do that, you're going to have people that have been here a long time that are at 16. And I remember when Mike Davis was insisting we get to 15. Well, we did, and that's not enough anymore. So that we're getting closer to the 18 being the new minimum. You'll have 5 employees in the city that will receive up to 12% to get to that minimum.
Good.
Yes, that's real good.
And then I'm going to be sending out an email later in the week about how we intend to fund future raises and what we recommend, but that would be in the budget, or you would have to change the budget. And so right now, what I just outlined, like these changes of these positions, those are the changes in the compensation plan.
Any
Happy to
questions?
answer any questions.
The GIS at the end of the day will save us money down the road.
There's no question about that.
We'll know where everything is. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2023-12.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next thing we've got is an approval of change order for the trunk sewer rehab project. This is where it didn't get done on time.
No, we just got it today and it had to be passed by April 18th and our meeting is next month is April 18th. So we just added it.
I think he has the old agenda.
Gotta
Oh,
do I.
yeah,
Oh, it just
Yeah.
is.
Here.
Shoot.
sorry. That's the only change. J and K staying the same. But I was added.
All right, I'm sorry. A resolution authorizes the city of Mount Pleasant to join the state of Tennessee and other local governments in amending the Tennessee State Opioid Abatement Agreement. And I just got some email and I saw you did too, like 5 minutes ago.
Great. Well, that might be what we're doing. So this is, Victoria and I talked with the class council that represents the city and the other municipalities on this matter. But basically there was a settlement that's reached and the city needs to approve that settlement in order to be eligible for the funds. These are very nominal funds.
Yeah, I was expecting a windfall and it's not worth the paper, I don't think, and Corey's time at that point.
And I cannot tell y'all the number of emails I
Oh, it's
receive
crazy.
on this.
Yeah.
It is
Under
ridiculous.
$200.
And it's pennies,
But however, this is something,
pennies.
these are waves of settlements. So
That's right.
There's a bunch of different defendants that are being settled at different times.
You get a piece at a time.
You get little pieces at a time. This is the second wave for this one. But the way that the settlement proceeds are allocated, that it's a 60-40 split, and 60% goes into a opioid abatement trust. And there's apparently a lot of money in that nobody is using. So if we can, as a city, find ways that to request that money to use it for things related to the opioid crisis, then we can do that. And so I think that's a bigger benefit to us than
Yeah.
these nominal.
The 40% piece that we get.
Yeah.
It's small.
I sure hope so.
And also, so let's say it, when I hate to say it, when our government lets these opioids come across.
Still letting them flow through.
Yeah.
and-
But there were, apparently the allocation is based off of, the impact
Head on the community.
that's had on the community. And so they recommended that if we could get together with like Murray County, Columbia, Spring Hill, different places around and maybe propose something bigger, we might have a better shot of getting to break into that trust to do something good. So
But in reality, and no disrespect to Corey, this was a class action lawsuit. Who made the money? The attorney.
That's right.
I
But
can
They
maybe-
also
always
say,
make the money,
Let's
don't
just
they?
hope somewhere down the line it's worth it, because I'm telling you, y'all would not believe the emails that
I was
come
about to say,
through.
I don't want to be in charge of it, so they
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
have it.
I make a motion.
We've got a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Now then, I'm back online. Change order for trunk sewer rehab.
Yes, so there's two change orders. There's actually a total of four, but what you're looking at right now is for the trunk sewer rehabilitation project. We're changing two things. We assess the damages because they did not finish the project in time. That's the first part of the change order. And then the second part of the change order is Barge gets additional money because they had to put additional time into this project to complete it. It's only $3,717. It's not a large amount of money, but so you're voting on two change orders that are part of the trunk sewer rehabilitation project.
Any questions? How much did it save us roughly?
It was between 50 and 90,000.
Yeah.
And the really good news about that project is as disappointed as we were with the contractor, that contractor just got bought out, by a much larger company that's very reputable, and we have a warranty, and we've already all put in our calendars to make sure we go out and camera this project again in about 8 months, because this new company that owns it now, we know that they will live up to that warranty. And so we're going to make sure that we go out and camera the pipe in about 8 months and make sure that everything's the way it needs to be. So I guess a little bit of good and bad.
All right. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the change order for this, trunk sewer rehabilitation project.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of change order for sewer project, and this is where I think if y'all have got this, Kate, you were
Looks
gonna-
like this.
Up, go to page 2, please.
That's
Of this.
the next item on the agenda, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for the change order of the sewer project as a whole, but if you would, of this package, if you go to the second page, and you'll see where Kate was at the work session talking about, Mike, as you brought up, going back and picking up those things we initially may have cut out of there to get it back to the number we needed to get it to, and now we know we can do it. So it's about, okay, it came out, what, 500?
Yeah, so $540,203 brings back everything, but as I stated earlier, the disinfection that we hope to get funded through the county CDBG grant. And then in addition to that, there's also something that looks like this in your packet that is, it's requiring additional time on Barge and their full-time inspector. So that amount is 111, and that totals $651,700. So right now, in our sewer capital project that you all know we've been putting $40,000 into every month as if we were still making payments, that account right now has $1,655,792. This project, as I just said, is $651,700, and that brings us to $1,004,000. And then we already have committed the $250,000 to the second portion of the sewer funding, which brings it down to 754, but we're making a $40,000 payment this month. So as I stated at the study session, I said 800,000, we're at 794,000 at the end of the week. And if we get that Murray County grant, we fully have funded everything we intended to do with the sewer project. And
Good
still have
news is we got $1
800,000.
million total.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Kate on the change order of the sewer? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the change order for the sewage project.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carries. All right, general comments from citizens. Jason, if you could come up, please, and state your name and your address, please, sir. Jason is the only one we had to sign up, by the way.
We're just happy you're here.
Yeah.
Jason, you know we try to limit it to 3 minutes, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm Jason Reason, 501 North Elm Street here in Mount Pleasant. Mayor and Commissioners, 3 years and 2 months ago, I came before you with concerns about the empty and decaying buildings we have here in our downtown district. The answer I got, answer short, was basically there's nothing you can do about it. So some things have changed over the course of 3 years, and so I'm given to understand that the city achieved getting a designation as a certified local government. Is that correct? And we have our historic zoning board now. Some of the buildings have had renovations, although they're still not to code because they're not ADA compliant. Unfortunately, there's been some changes the other way too, in that we have previously occupied buildings that are now vacant. And another thing is the parking lot project across from the Hamilton building has been at a standstill for at least 18 months now. That in particular makes me really worried because I look at things like the rail building here on the square, and I think about if we start digging into this ground for this downtown revitalization, and that building is compromised the way the Veritas building is, we're going to end up with a hole sitting here for years while insurance companies fight over who's responsible for this kind of thing. There's a recent post that was made on our social media from our tourism page for the city, indicating that there's a lot of frustration about these buildings, and citizens weighed in and expressed that frustration as well. So I guess what I'm here to ask is, some things are in place. Has anything changed? Is there anything that we're going to do about these buildings? I mean, it seems to me like the standards in this highly visible, high profile section of the city, this section of the city that people come to see when they come here, need to be more strict than it is in other areas, but it seems to be the most lackadaisical. So I'm done talking. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I can speak to the ADA requirements. I think you're aware of it. This downtown revitalization that we've been waiting for 2018 to break ground, and everybody's tired of me saying one more improvement from the state. And the grant funding's still there. We've already been funded for the second phase
Right.
and hadn't started the first phase.
Right.
But all of basically from the grill to the power plant, all that will be ADA accessible.
Right. But my concern is each building that gets renovated is responsible. The renovation, the ADA compliance follows particular buildings that are renovated, not like citywide projects. I mean, I'm glad that they're going to be accessible.
The whole project has to be ADA or the state wouldn't approve it.
Right. But what I'm saying is
Maybe I
the building that just today had a grand opening for the business that's in it, when it was renovated to be opened with the business, should have been made ADA compliant. That's the federal standard. And they didn't do that.
Right. And that ADA goes back to like the 1980s, but it didn't start getting enforced until just recently.
Right.
And you're right. You can't.
But this is a renovation that happened just a few months ago. And I've asked about it and was basically told it was more important to seal the doors shut so that there wouldn't be water
It
damage.
wasn't a new renovation. It was a new tenant.
That's correct.
So
There was
that
no
building has been
renovation.
renovated and ready?
None.
No, it used to
It's already
be,
done.
you remember it was a store, I can't think of the name, Clover Home and Hatch.
Yeah.
Right, but the other side, the side that's ground level, because the Clover Home and Hash side has steps to get it.
Mm-hmm.
The other side was a vacant shell of a building.
No.
I know it was because Mitzi Cisco let us in through there to get into her building.
Okay.
So it's,
But the entrance is from the Clover Home and Hash side.
it is.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there's no way for somebody in a wheelchair
To get in.
Right,
That's,
yeah,
that's not acceptable.
yeah. If it was a total rehab again, you can't get away from the ADA requirements anymore.
Well, however it is that they're rationalizing it, it's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very frustrating that the business that's there has made no efforts to do anything to try to make any accommodations to try to help anybody get in. So but that's not even my point. My bigger concern is about like buildings that are falling apart. So what are we doing?
The city don't own these buildings.
I know.
That's correct.
But I mean, you have zoning codes, right? I mean, the use of the buildings has to fit the codes. The
Well,
zoning.
it's one right here on the corner, one right back here.
Mhm.
You know, it's owned by somebody out of the city. And I've asked, there's nothing we can do.
All we can do is the outside property
And
maintenance,
that's it, outside.
and we do that regularly.
Can we
But they don't
not,
have, they don't have a business in it, so as long as it's not being used, we don't have right to enforce code violations.
Inside.
So-
Inside.
I think what he's saying, if they do this renovation on the downtown area and it disturbs that building, is that what you're saying?
I am concerned about, yeah.
He's concerned about disturbing that building that's pretty much already about to fall down.
but if the
The
building,
bricks are falling, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So he's concerned about
The
who's
building-
gonna be responsible for that.
the building's not safe, can we not impose fines on the owner of the building until they bring it up to code?
I have not been told that the building's not safe. I know that we've gone out there and cited them for several things. And what will happen is you'll see a crew out there that will get out there and get all the windows closed and all the things that we cite them with will get corrected. And then we'll be back in 6 months and there'll be more things.
That's the one I'm talking about. She came in and
That's exactly right.
done what she,
There's a crew that
Needed
gets
to
sent out
do
here.
and-
Yeah.
But-
That's what
We
she
have a
always
slum
does.
clearance ordinance. So there is a dilapidated building ordinance that y'all have. It's been in place for forever. It's the same one that every city has pretty much. And if we can prove that it's dilapidated and dangerous or unsafe in any way, there's language in that ordinance, then we enforce it. But the problem with a lot of these buildings is they're just not used. They're not necessarily unsafe from what we can tell. They're just not being used, and we can't force people to use them a different way.
but Cisco could come forth and file a
Right.
lawsuit or whatever, couldn't?
So, I hope, geez, what it would take to have to do that, I'd really like to not have to go through. But I guess what I'm kind of confused about, because I've been trying to pay attention a lot to like how the city handles zoning things and all that. And I'm curious, like with this historic commercial district that we have, to let a building sit there unoccupied, unimproved, is that consistent with the use of a building in our commercial historic zone?
Not what we
Not being
want.
used.
It's not what
So there
we,
is no use.
I'm with the vice mayor, it's not what we want.
But it's not our building.
If it's not mine, if it's not.
I'm not gonna go spend something, Jason, on something that I don't own.
Right.
And I don't think you will either.
If it's not, I
Just
may
saying,
be
man.
wrong, I may be wrong what I'm fixing to quote. But would you give $1 million for that building?
I mean, I don't know what the building is worth. I mean, let's face it,
It's not worth.
if I won the lottery, there's a lot of things I'd like to buy that probably not worth it. But
The only other way that the city can take action in my mind is, I think we talked about it 3 years ago plus, is you get into condemnation and eminent domain and I would think if you're going to go that route, you need to have buyers that are just begging to get in there and it sits vacant forever. But when you talk about the use in the zoning ordinance, it's not being used, so you can't use that. I think it has protection with the historic zoning code once somebody wants to use it and what they want to use it for. And then we would use that overlay to determine if it fits that. And anything they kind of want to do to the outside facade would be part of that historic zoning overlay of what they can and can't do. But to force a use, I don't think the only way you do that is if you go through with condemnation. And that's a very expensive process for us to have to do as a city.
And that would be
Right.
for us to use it.
Yeah, that'd be us owning it when it's over with.
Public use.
Right.
But I think the kind of ironic part about the historic zoning is that it makes it harder for owners to
Get it compliant.
comply because it adds an extra layer of rules.
Right.
for what they have to comply with going forward.
But that's, I mean, that's what I want, and that's what part of what hurts my heart to see is a building that it didn't just become like this overnight. This is decades of neglect. That if it had been taken care of all along, it wouldn't be an outrageous expectation. But now it's an outrageous expectation because of the condition that it's in.
And the owner don't want to do nothing.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm what I'm hearing is essentially, yeah, there's nothing we can do. This is just a blight on the city that we have to deal with.
We can continue.
Now,
to take
whoa,
care
whoa,
of it
whoa, whoa, I don't think
outside.
I would agree with that now, Jason.
Okay.
Now, don't be putting words in my mouth.
No, you're right. I apologize.
Now, hold on. Because there's nobody in this community that loves this city more than Bill White. And there's nothing I had rather see than to see 100 people lined up with $1 million in their pocket to come in here and open businesses.
Right.
Well, we
And
all,
you and I can't control that,
No,
Right.
you can't.
okay?
we all would like
So
to see.
I'm sorry, but you hit my hard side. And we've given this well over 10 minutes.
You're
So,
right. You're right. I'll go ahead and sit there.
I
And
think
we worked hard.
I'm sorry,
too.
Jason, you and I are friends, but don't tell me I don't care. Because there's nobody in this community that cares any more than Bill White.
I'm not trying to say that anybody doesn't care. What I'm trying to say is that nothing can be done. And that we just
Very
have to
frustrating.
accept that this
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
we are, we are.
Because number one, the
frustrated.
building you keep throwing in front of me, my family owned.
I think this segues into another just quick comment, and then I'll let y'all adjourn. But delinquent tax sales. So in March, we did not sell any properties.
Cool.
As Shifra mentioned, they've collected a lot of the real property taxes. We will file the new delinquent tax lawsuit on April 1st. That hasn't passed yet, right?
Right.
I had a panic moment for a second. So we'll file the new delinquent tax lawsuit on April 1st. So the reason that ties into dilapidated buildings is because a lot of times these same properties that are not being upkept, there's a reason, you know, we don't always know what it is. And so we were going to make a diligent effort to try to contact all these people who might owe taxes on different properties throughout the city. And, you know, maybe just that contact from the city will help get things moving. So
Cool.
we do that every year, but we've talked about this a lot. And I think the city, we get better and better at collecting delinquent taxes every year. The list gets smaller, we get more contact. So,
Well, if
It's
the delinquent
even-
was on that building, we need to.
Yeah, it's equally frustrating when we know people have offered very good amounts of money for these buildings and the owners aren't even responding. They're not even responding with a counter. They're just like, I'm not selling.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just
I know how
sits.
that's all I got. Continue.
Mr. Pam, you got anything?
I agree with you.
I don't disagree with you.
I
It's just,
I think the one thing that was trying to be done with that post is it's almost the only way to do it is shame somebody into doing something. Shame them into.
we've tried that.
That's not gonna work with
Didn't
her.
work.
I hate that
I know,
is
but
what it came to,
Yeah.
because I think that
yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem I got. That's not the appropriate way to,
No.
you throwing people under the bus and they don't even know they're getting done to. Ms. Willie?
I don't have anything.
Mike?
No, sir.
Vice Mayor?
Motion.
Make a motion. You getting ready?
I second.
All those in favor?
Ah.